The nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by next-generation special forces being led by members of Foxhound. They are demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss, and they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon. You will have two mission objectives. First, you're to rescue DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and the President of Armstech, Kenneth Baker. Both are being held as hostages. Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to make a nuclear strike and stop them if they do.
What's the insertion method?
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim. High-tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound, your former unit, and one that I was the commander of.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mantis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter. And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As always, this is a one-man sneaking mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP.
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
Hey everybody! That was one hell of an intro, wasn't it? Just like last time, honestly. It was very faithful to the original. So, welcome back to another stream of mine, another episode of the Metal Gear series. We're now starting Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, which is a remake of Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation. And make sure I'm playing with the wire now again, so I got this controller. As you can see from the intro, I'm playing on a Nintendo Wii. I hooked up my old one. It took a few days to come back because I had to dig it up. I had to find it in my house in the closet, so I had to look everywhere for it. And then I had to hook it up. And, found an old GameCube memory card. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's why I was gone for a while. But yeah, I got the game. And as you saw, the Wii menu booted up, and we heard the classic GameCube sound, but we didn't see the actual GameCube intro. Maybe I'll look that up on YouTube for nostalgia later or something. But as always, new console, new wiring. Gotta, start doing audio checks as usual. I'm gonna use the little bars, the volume bars here. From what I can see, this one peaks in there's a big green bar, then it becomes yellow, then red, and that's max. That's when it's telling you this shit is loud. Like, my mic is usually in the red. Because I have it all the way up because I'm usually further away. During the intros I'm closer, so it's whatever, so I'll lower it a little bit right now. But right now the game is also almost peaking in the red. So I'm gonna turn it down by 10%. Make sure it's not like drowning out my voice. There we go. I think that should do for now. But later I'll look back at the I'll look back at the stream later. Like once I'm finished recording it. Or maybe when I go on break, if I decide to take a break and keep going later. And then we'll see, I'll actually listen back to it on my phone, and on my computer I'll watch the stream back and check for audio, so then the next one will hopefully be better. It's a trial and error process kind of thing. It usually happens when switching consoles and console generations, when capturing audio off of not your PC, basically. It's, one of those things. I think even on PC it happens, though. I've seen a lot of streamers who they don't realize their game is like hella loud or hella quiet until somebody in their chat tells them. So, just bear with me, folks. I'll go ahead and do an actual, because I'm still paranoid, I'll actually open up my stream right now and see if it's too quiet or too loud. The title screen is nice and loud, so it's a great way to check, honestly. So let's see. Alright, well, with just this music, it only tells me so much, so I gotta... We'll play the briefings like before, and during the briefings, when I comment, I'll just, mute my mic really quick and open up my phone and see how I sound compared to the characters. But also, the other thing is, now we're not on PS1, we're on GameCube. The audio has, audio technology has increased, or upgraded, I guess, whatever the word. So... things are just gonna sound a little different. Like, sometimes when they talk, it may be a lot quieter than when there's actual action going on, like gunfire and stuff like that. So it's just gonna be like last time, a trial and error process the whole way through. I'll just have to keep checking the stream once in a while. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? Enough of this palaver. At least have to get the settings in the right spot. Oh yeah, this controller, it's a GameCube controller, but it was made, this specific one has a Smash Bros logo on it because it was made, it was a limited edition re-release of GameCube controllers made specifically for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that released in 2018 or 2019, one of those. So that's why it's that's why it has the Smash Bros. Logo instead of the GameCube logo. I do have an original GameCube controller, a purple one, down here. Actually, again, here, let me see. But it's ancient as fuck, so that's why I'm not going to use it. There you go. That Nintendo GameCube. So yeah, it's been through a lot of wear and tear because I played the hell out of my GameCube back in the day. I'll talk more about that later though. We gotta get going. Alright. Radar type 1 or 2. Radar Type 1 is for novices, displayed during intrusion mode 2. Standard radar is Type 2, not displayed during intrusion mode. Okay. I'm a noob, so let's go Type 1. You can turn off or on blood, sound. I wonder if they'll still make fun of you for the mono thing. I gotta remember that when we get to the Hind D helicopter fight against Liquid. Subtitles. First person view switch. I'm gonna switch this to toggle. I actually tested the game a little bit before I did my due diligence this time. I needed to make sure it was actually gonna work on stream. And first person view you have to hold down the Z button, which is very uncomfortable when you consider the fact that you have to use the R button to aim. So having to do this right here, holding the Z button and then the R button, it's very, my fingers don't like it, so I'm switching this to toggle. Reverse, of course. Item window. Oh yeah, this new feature. So okay, I should intro Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes a little bit here. So this game is obviously a remake of Metal Gear Solid that came out about 5 years later. Actually, no. 4, 5, 6 years later after the original, because the original was released in 1998. This was released in 2004. It's a remake that incorporates all the quality of life upgrades that Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, got when that came out on the PS2. I think a year or two before this one. So we're gonna see some different shit. It's, it's a proper remake. It gets upgrades, quality of life stuff. And this is one of them. You can make it so that now items of the same type are grouped together. So there's a lot less clutter, and you won't have to spend so much time scrolling through your endless list of weapons and items on the left and right side of the screen when you switch stuff. As you saw me sometimes when I was like, dude, I have too much shit, I have so much stuff, I was like having to scroll so far just to find something. Now you can group items that are in the same category together, so that it's much easier to get to what you want, basically. More organized. This is another thing, quick change. That was available in the original game. If you just tap the button, or I think it was R2 was to select items and weapons, and R2 and L2. R1 and L1 was to quickly equip or unequip the last thing you had selected. Now you can change it to just go back to your previous piece of equipment, which when you open up the item and weapon select menus, it'll actually be marked with a gray little mark, showing you this is the last thing you equipped. So if you use the quick change, it'll switch back to this. The game lets you know. I think both have their advantages and disadvantages. Sometimes you just want to unequip your weapon really quick. Sometimes you want to be able to swap back to a different weapon or item really quick. So this, I haven't decided how I feel about it, but I think I'm going to leave it on previous. And these are whatever. How does that look for you guys? I can see an extra gray bar above the green bar, luckily, on the stream preview, so you guys definitely see things brighter than me. This game's not, hopefully not too dark, so that shouldn't bother me. As before, just like in Metal Gear Solid 1, there's a briefing and a special. The special has the recaps on the previous Metal Gear games, along with some extra stuff. There's now a dog tag viewer. But I don't have a, Dog tags are something they added in Metal Gear Solid 2, which I can go ahead, it's not a spoiler, I can go ahead and tell you. In Metal Gear Solid 2, to get the infinite ammo and stealth camo New Game Plus items, you have to collect all the dog tags from all the enemies. And I'll demonstrate in this game how to collect the dog tag. You couldn't just like knock fools out and then search their bodies, unfortunately. It was a lot harder than that. But so they added that into this as a collectible, a fun collectible minigame you could do throughout the game. But don't worry, the way you unlock infinite ammo and stealth camo, New Game Plus weapons, or New Game Plus items in this game is still the same as the original. You just have to get both ends for the game. You don't have to get the dog tags. That's just a Metal Gear Solid 2 thing. Photo album, this is where we'll see, I think some of the same Easter eggs from the original are in this one. We're definitely going to test them to see if they are. I don't know what the hell this is. Probably have to beat the game to find out. And here's I don't know what this is either. And here's the previous operations thing. Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. A lot of this game has been re-scripted, so maybe this is different. So I'll go ahead and reread this just like I did at the beginning of Metal Gear Solid. And then I can just look back at my old stream on YouTube and see if there was any difference. Alright, so a recap of Metal Gear. That is Metal Gear 1, the first game that ever came out for the MSX in 1986, I believe, or something like that. It takes place. All these games take place in the near future. Well, most of them do. So this released in '86, but it takes place in the year 1995. Deep in South Africa, 200 kilometers north of Garsberg, I guess that's the actual final spelling and pronunciation, Outer Heaven, an armed fortress nation established by a legendary mercenary. He was feared in combat by both his friends and foes as a hero and a lunatic. The Western nations had found out that a weapon of mass destruction capable of rewriting war... pause champ, there we go. Capable of rewriting war history, okay, was under development at Outer Heaven. They called upon the high-tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound to take care of the situation. In response to this order, Big Boss, Commander-in-Chief of Foxhound, sent Grey Fox, the man with the codename Fox, a name given to the best member of the unit. Operation Intrude N313. After a few days, Grey Fox was missing in action, his last message being Metal Gear. ... and then he got cut off. Taking the situation seriously, the top men of the West again called for Foxhound. Big Boss selected Agent Solid Snake, who had just recently joined Foxhound and entrusted everything to him. It's like, okay, our best member, we just lost contact with him. Let's send in the rookie now, the guy who just joined that is still green as grass. That's not shady or suspect at all, is it? Successfully making a solo infiltration into Outer Heaven, Snake got in touch with local resistance members Schneider, Diane, and Jennifer. With their cooperation, Snake succeeded in rescuing Grey Fox. Grey Fox then laid out the terrifying facts about Metal Gear. Metal Gear was a development name of a nuclear warhead. A nuclear warhead equipped two-legged walking tank. It could walk through even the roughest terrains that would stop normal tanks. It could conduct local warfare by itself with unique weapons like its Vulcan cannon and anti-tank missiles. It was indeed a new type of weapon that could conduct a nuclear attack against any place on the face of the Earth, from any land surface. With Metal Gear, Outer Heaven was trying to establish its military superiority over the entire world. In order to destroy Metal Gear, Snake rescued Metal Gear's chief engineer, Dr. Petrovich, and his daughter Ellen, who was taken hostage to force her father to continue with his development. Snake heard from Dr. Petrovich how to destroy Metal Gear. However, as Snake approached the heart of Outer Heaven, and Metal Gear, well-designed traps were set all around Snake, as if all his actions were being leaked to the enemy. Hella sus! In the midst of the escalating battle, the leader of the resistance, Schneider, fell into the hands of the enemy, and Snake himself was injured through deadly battles with Outer Heaven's best mercenaries. But Snake's indomitable spirit led him to the 100th floor basement of the secret base where Metal Gear was developed. Evading the powerful defense system that had wiped out all other intruders, Snake ultimately succeeded in destroying Metal Gear. Snake tried to escape from Outer Heaven upon completing the mission. However, during the escape, he was confronted by one man, Foxhound Commander Big Boss. Big Boss laughed at the astounded Snake and told him the truth about his mission. While serving as the commander of Foxhound, Big Boss also ran a mercenary dispatch company utilizing his connections and capital from his years as a merc. Oh shit, the plot twist. He was planning to build this company a larger military establishment, and he built Outer Heaven as its base. His purpose for sending the rookie Snake to Outer Heaven was to cause information confusion in the West, spreading misinformation. Very timely game, isn't it? However, Big Boss miscalculated. He never thought that Snake would make it that far. Having lost Metal Gear, Big Boss activated the self-destruction system of the underground base. While the countdown to destruction continued, his scream echoed in the emptiness. You have gone too far. Too far! In the 100th floor basement, the battle between two men commenced. Free of ideology and politics. This is very true to the original recap. The armed fortress nation Outer Heaven collapsed. The impenetrable fortress, made from the best military technology and occupied by the toughest mercenaries, burned in flames. Behind him, the flames reached skyward as Outer Heaven fell, leaving Solid Snake all alone. Yeah, just like the original recap, it ends on a very somber note, because that is how the game ended. It's kind of a bittersweet ending. You know, it's like you're happy you were victorious, but you're sad because it's like, at what cost? And what does it mean for the future? So yeah, fucking FF14, I almost said the flames reached Heavensward. as outer heaven fell. It fits, doesn't it? The flames reached heavens where as outer heaven fell. Oy. That game lives rent-free in my head for a reason. Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, the second game's recap. 1999. The world was facing an energy crisis. It was obvious that the supply of petroleum would run out faster than expected. However, the development of an alternate energy resource was far from completion. The price of petroleum skyrocketed and the world's economy was in confusion. The 21st century was expected to be one of chaos. Well, so far it's living up to that anyway, isn't it? One man's invention changed the entire situation. A Czech genius and biologist, Dr. Kio Marv. I like how that his name backwards was VRAM. What was it? VRAM 01 or 010, whatever it was. Anyway, Dr. Kio Marv invented Oilix, a microorganism that refines petroleum to produce a highly purified form of petroleum. What? It refines petroleum to produce a highly purified form of petroleum. I'm not sure if they fucked that up or if it said that the first time and I never noticed, but I thought the idea behind it was that it can make petroleum synthetically instead of actually having to go dig it up out of the ground. But they kind of leave, whatever. The world was filled with hope upon the discovery of this messiah to solve the energy crisis. But at the same time, the world entered a time of tension regarding this new algae. Just when the whole world's attention was drawn to Oilix and Dr. Marv, he was abducted by someone and disappeared. Well, I mean, if the whole world was paying attention to him, I think it stands to reason he became a pretty high-profile target at that point, didn't he? With him and his research. Nations began investigations immediately, and a name soon appeared. Zanzibar Land. Zanzibar Land was a democratic military regime that suddenly appeared in Central Asia in 1997. When their uprising took place, the CIS army, formed around Russia, sent a suppressive unit immediately. Zanzibar Land resisted by gathering a band of mercenaries from nations around the world and fortifying most of its land. As a result, the CIS army was repeatedly defeated and Zanzibar Land declared its independence. Due to the active role mercenaries played, this war was called the Mercenary War, and Zanzibar Land was referred to as an armed fortress nation. A military nation with a group of strong mercenaries surrounded by a tough fortress. According to the latest information, Zanzibar supposedly was armed with nuclear weapons. The whole scenario was crystal clear. By obtaining Oilix in addition to nuclear weapons, Zanzibar Land was trying to establish its economic and military superiority over the entire world. Sounds very familiar at this point, doesn't it? It's like history's repeating itself with Outer Heaven. Concerned about the situation, the United States ordered Roy Campbell, commander of High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound, to rescue Dr. Marv. Campbell was a former member of Foxhound. He brought back Solid Snake, the man who single-handedly brought down the armed fortress nation of Outer Heaven 4 years before, and asked Snake to bring back both Dr. Marv and Oilix. Successfully infiltrating Zanzibar Land and with the help of CIA agent Holly and others, Snake was able to go deep into the fortress and meet again with Dr. Petrovich, the chief engineer of Metal Gear at Outer Heaven. He too was abducted to Zanzibar Land and was forced to develop another Metal Gear. He told the surprised Snake of an even more shocking fact. Big Boss, the man Snake had defeated at Outer Heaven, turned out to be the general commander of Zanzibar Land. Snake rescued Dr. Petrovich in cooperation with Natasha, Dr. Marv's guard and former Czech International Secret Police agent, and then headed for the confinement facility deep in the fortress to save Dr. Marv. When Petrovich and Natasha crossed the narrow suspension bridge over the deep valley, a missile blew the bridge away. Natasha was sent flying into the air from the explosion. While unable to do anything to save Natasha, Snake started hearing a well-known voice. "Hey Snake, we are good buddies. I can let you go. Just leave this place at once." Gray Fox, preceded by 3 dots, which is why I paused champ there. Snake saw Gray Fox, the best soldier and Foxhound controlling Metal Gear. After the fall of Outer Heaven, Fox had disappeared as if he had followed Big Boss. Losing Natasha in front of his eyes and letting Petrovich get taken away, Snake screamed, "Fox, I will not give up!" After a series of deadly battles with mercenaries, Snake finally made it to Dr. Marv's confinement facility. However, he arrived too late. He saw Dr. Marv's corpse and Petrovich, who could do nothing but just stand there. Petrovich told Snake that Dr. Marv could not withstand the repeated tortures because of heart problems. Snake then received an emergency call from Holly. The information she supplied was very shocking. Petrovich had been voluntarily visiting Zanzibar land to develop Metal Gear. The abduction of Dr. Marv was conducted under the directions of Petrovich himself. After the truth came out, Petrovich attacked Snake, but Snake easily put an end to him and obtained the structural plan of Oilix. While trying to escape, again they leave out the details of how that happened too. Oh my god, I was laughing my ass off so hard when we saw that when I streamed Metal Gear 2. You had to shoot a remote-controlled missile and then guide it behind you and hit yourself from behind because Dr. Petrovich was literally latched onto you from behind, choking you out, like trying to strangle you to kill you. And there was no way to get him to let go, so he was just on your back, just on your ass, just strangling you from behind. So you had to fire a remote-controlled missile and then guide it around and hit him in the ass. You had to shove a rocket up his ass, basically. And I was like making fun of how it's like, dude, of course they left that out of the recap. That's such an unrealistic way of it's such an unrealistic way of getting rid of someone who's trying to strangle you from behind, right? You'll blow yourself up along with that person if you do that shit. Even assuming you could even fire off a remote-controlled missile and guide it remotely while he's strangling you, like that game was good times just because of how absurd it got. Which, honestly, these games follow that trend, but to a slightly lesser degree. Well, maybe not so much with this remake, you guys will see soon, but anyway, I digress, let's keep going. I can't help but talk about this, it was just so funny seeing that. It was even funnier to play through it many years ago when I played through Metal Gear 2, but anyway. So, Snake easily put an end to him and obtained the structural plan of Oilix. While trying to escape, Snake was confronted by Metal Gear, again controlled by Grey Fox. A tremendous battle took place in the underground base. Snake finally succeeded in destroying Metal Gear, the second one. However, Grey Fox did not submit and challenged Snake to a final battle. In the midst of a minefield, Snake and Fox fought without any weapons. A fist-to-fist duel involving no hatred or murderous intent. During that weird moment of purity, the two were bound by forces transcending words and emotion. Snake won the tough but pure battle against Grey Fox. However, there was someone else Snake still had to fight. Big Boss. Just like 4 years before at Outer Heaven, Big Boss was waiting for Snake. One who has experienced the tension of battle can never leave the battlefield. I am the one giving you something to live for, and that is war. Snake was infuriated at the arrogance Big Boss. There is only one battle I have to fight. To free myself from you. To shatter the nightmare. ... Big Boss, I will kill you! With the structural plan of Oilix, Snake and Holly escaped from Zanzibar land in a rescue helicopter. That was an epic escape chase sequence too. Snake once again saved the world. However, there was no smile on his face. Big Boss's last words kept ringing in Snake's head. Whoever wins, our battle does not end. The loser is freed from the battlefield, but the winner must remain there. And the survivor must live his life as a warrior until he dies. Snake then disappeared into the white lands of Alaska. Trying to prove Big Boss wrong, essentially. Yeah, those words echoed pretty profoundly in Snake's head, I remember that. Even after Big Boss's death, he keeps living rent-free in his head. Because it literally influenced Snake to just run off on his own and try to prove him wrong by living a life of peace in Alaska by himself, isolated from the world. So it's almost like Big Boss had the last laugh, didn't he? Because he influenced Snake into living out the rest of his life that way, just to try to prove him wrong. I don't think that was his intention, but either way, that was the outcome, the effect, regardless. They also conveniently leave out how you defeat Big Boss in that game too, which was burning him alive. Pretty dark, it's a pretty grotesque way to kill someone, but yeah. Since you had no weapons left, and you fought Grey Fox with your fists, but Big Boss decides to fight you with a machine gun when you have nothing, Snake had to improvise. And yeah, you collect some aerosol, some kind of flammable spray, could have been hairspray, could have been anything, and a lighter. And then David style from Resident Evil Outbreak, you tape the lighter, to the damn spray or whatever, and then shoot it, the flammable spray with the lighter on, and it just becomes a flamethrower, homemade flamethrower. You burn Big Boss to death, basically. He screams your name as he dies. He's like, and yeah, that's pretty much how Big Boss died. So yeah. So there's the recap again. Yeah, it looks almost word for word the same as in the original Metal Gear Solid, so I guess the title music. And now for a little synopsis on this game, the remake, specifically. So, Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes is a 2004 stealth game co-developed by Konami Computer Entertainment Japan and Silicon Knights, the dudes who did Eternal Darkness, by the way, and published by Konami for the GameCube. Released in March, the game is a remake of Metal Gear Solid, originally developed by Konami Computer Entertainment Japan for the PlayStation in 1998. The Twin Snakes features graphical improvements over the original, new cutscenes written and directed by Ryuhei Kitamura, and gameplay functions originally introduced in the sequel Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. The game includes a revised translation with re-recorded voice acting, using almost all of the original English voice cast. The game was met with positive reception. Which, yeah, I think I saw that some of the scores it got was like 8s and 9s out of 10, actually. People enjoyed how faithful it was, mostly faithful it was to the original, I think. Which makes me think, seeing this and the scores, that maybe the people who don't like this game are a small vocal minority, I guess. Because I only heard it from other Twitch streamers that people don't like this compared to the original, that it didn't stay true to the original enough, I guess, but I don't have that problem. I love this game, and it's a huge part of my childhood because I played it a lot on my GameCube as a kid. But anyway, the gameplay and development is what I wanted. I read it earlier and I wanted to talk about this on stream. The gameplay of the Twin Snakes was altered to resemble that of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. While all of the original areas and enemies were kept, new ways for the player to combat them were introduced, such as the ability to shoot from a first-person view. Enemy AI was improved, giving enemy soldiers the ability to communicate with each other and detect the player more intelligently with senses of sight and sound enhanced. The Twin Snakes was first announced in 2003 by Nintendo of America, confirming that Silicon Knights would be developing under the guidance of Metal Gear creator Hideo Kojima and Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto. Although the Twin Snakes was largely developed at Silicon Knights, Ryuhei, if that's how you pronounce it, Kitamura directed many of the game's cinematics, while Silicon Knights implemented them into the game, to look identical to those in the original Metal Gear Solid. But, this is important, upon inspection, Hideo Kojima asked Kitamura to redo them in his well-known action style. So Hideo Kojima himself said, "I appreciate that you're trying to remake the cutscenes exactly as I made them in the original game, but no. Put your own style into it, man. Fuck it. You'd like to do a lot of, like, action, you know, you're well known for doing action sequences very well in other video games. Do it here, man. Go for it. I want to see how you can remake some of my cutscenes and make them better. Make them more, like, I don't want to spoil anything. You'll see. But see, there it is. Some people don't like that some of the cutscenes were altered, but Hideo Kojima himself asked for it. When these guys were willing to make them exactly like the first game, Hideo Kojima said no. We already saw the submarine. There were actual lasers. There were tripwire lasers that Snake had to navigate the swimmer diver vehicle thing, whatever it's called. Yeah, swimmer SVD, right? Swimmer vehicle delivery system. That torpedo that he was shot out from. He had to maneuver it past laser traps so he wouldn't set off an alarm and get caught before he even gets there. And then at the end, it was going to crash into a wall, so he had to eject at the last second before the torpedo hit the damn wall, the rock wall. That didn't happen in the original. He actually got there smoothly, got out when it slowed down. The torpedo slowed down, he got out, and everything was fine. Here, he had to do an epic escape, which is when I played sound effects. So we already saw one of the remade scenes. The rework cinematics did receive some criticism due to Kitamura's excessive use of the bullet time effect. Slow-mo, for those that don't know. Which was largely inspired by the then popular hit movie, The Matrix. The Matrix came out in 2001, I believe, so I think the sequel came out around 2004-ish, maybe? I gotta look that up. The game's composition duties were split. Some of the in-game music, some of the in-game music was handled by Steve Enifin, don't know that guy, and Silicon Knights' music staff, while the rest of the music, in-game menus, and cutscenes was handled by Konami's music staff, including Metal Gear Solid 2 co-composer, one of the composers from Metal Gear Solid 2, Norihiko Hibino. Hibino. I know. Hibino, sorry. I fucked up the name. Anyway, if you don't know what the hell I'm reading, it's basically the Wikipedia article. So, that's a little synopsis on the game's creation as a remake, and to address people who might, like, have a lot of criticisms against this game for not being super faithful to the original. It's like, well, part of that was by intention. Hideo Kojima himself said, please remake the cutscenes in your own style to the guy doing them. He said, I appreciate you staying faithful to the original, but, add some of your own flavor to it. Fuck it. Add some of that slow-mo Matrix shit that people are into now. See, the original Metal Gear Solid it came out before the Matrix, I believe. So, the Matrix was like 1999 or something like that? Or 2000. Can't remember, but... I think it came out before that, so they didn't have any of that shit, but now it's like, yeah, fuck it, let's add more of that shit. People love that shit, and it's true. A lot of video games in the 2000s, because of the Matrix, got, movies and video games were heavily influenced by that shit. That movie's a legend just for that. The slow-mo, dodging bullets, or just slow-mo in general, just to, like, make an action scene more action-y, more dramatic. It's crazy. But anyway, let's go ahead and start the briefing, then I can actually do some proper audio checks with dialogue at least, and see if the game's too loud or too quiet. So, yeah. Is that it? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go for it. And yes, we will be redoing Easter eggs from the original, the ones that can be redone, which I think is pretty much all of them, as well as new Easter eggs that are exclusive to this version. But let's go ahead with the briefing first. Here we go. Let me get my phone ready so I can immediately mute as soon as we start this, so...
It's been a long time, Snake.
I should have known you were behind this, Colonel.
Snake, straight to the point as always.
What do you want from me?
I just invited you here so we could have a talk.
Sounding pretty good.
That's what you call sending armed soldiers after me?
Sorry if they were a little rough with you, but we've got a serious situation here. Only you can get us out of it.
I'm retired from Foxhound. You're not my commander anymore, and I don't have to take orders from you or anyone else.
You will take these orders. I know it.
Raise the game volume just a little bit.
Excuse me.
Who's this?
Dr. Naomi Hunter, the unit's chief medic, an expert in gene therapy.
Are you military?
No, civilian. I've been sent here from ATGC. Pleasure to meet you, Snake. Don't worry, this injection won't hurt a bit.
What's the shot for?
What's wrong? You don't like shots?
Snake, listen up. About 5 hours ago, an island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago called Shadow Moses Island was occupied by Special Ops soldiers.
What soldiers?
Next Generation Special Forces, led by members of Unit Foxhound. They've presented Washington with a single demand, and they say that if it isn't met, they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
A nuclear weapon?
I'm afraid so. You see, the island is the site of a secret nuclear weapons disposal facility.
I'm gonna test the soundboard too.
Hijacking a nuclear weapon?
Now you understand how serious the situation is. You have two objectives. First, infiltrate the nuclear weapons disposal facility and rescue the two hostages. They are DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and Kenneth Baker, President of Armstech.
Those are some heavy-duty hostages.
Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the
Soundboard
terrorists
sounds
have
good.
the ability to launch a nuclear strike and stop them if they do. Any questions, Snake?
Questions? I haven't even said whether I'd accept this mission.
Well, you can make up your mind after you hear more about the situation.
See, so in the original Metal Gear Solid, we had sort of an anime briefing. Like, there were just drawings that were animated drawings, anime. And that's how they were talking, right? Now it's actually full 3D character models moving around, and you get to watch in a black and white camera. Well, not sort of black and white, just sort of this weird monochrome camera. I accidentally discovered an Easter egg while testing this game off stream a little while ago. I don't know if it's intended or if it always ends this way or not, but... You guys remember I accidentally left the briefing early on the original Metal Gear Solid, and nothing happened. We just went back into the menu, finished watching the rest of the briefings, and then, you know, Snake cuts his hair at the end. You don't get to see that, right? Here, if you just intro like this and you leave... Again, I don't know if this was intended. I don't know if this still happens anyway, if you just leave without seeing all of them. Instead of cutting his hair, well, I'll just show you.
Colonel, I'm off duty now. Let me go back to Twin Lakes.
Why, Snake? Is your life in Alaska all that great?
There's a dog sled race this week. Next Saturday I have to be in Anchorage.
The Iditarod, the longest sled race in the world. When did you become a dog musher?
Right now, my 50 huskies are my only family. I've got to take care of them.
Don't worry about your dogs.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, Snake, but this vessel is headed for the Bering Sea. There's no room for debate.
I told you, even if I do owe you, I don't owe anything to this army or this country.
You will accept this assignment.
Why should I be stupid enough to do that? I'm no patriot.
You're being indicted by the military. You committed a whole lot of crimes of treachery during your days as an agent.
Oh, I see. Blackmail.
They're about to throw hands,
No,
dude.
Snake. It's just a little scheme the brass thought up. But anyway, I know you. You'd take this assignment even without any threat.
What's that supposed to mean?
You are a natural-born soldier. You can't live a normal life in peace. It's the same for all of us who've seen real action. The only place we can feel truly alive is on the battlefield. I'm a soldier too. I know those feelings of powerlessness, frustration that you feel every day. You've tried to play the Boy Scout out there in Alaska, but you can't race dogs in the snow forever. Why don't you come back to us and be a soldier again?
You think my life is some kind of a joke?
Snake, I just want to give you back your purpose in life.
So again, I'm not sure if you just get to see that video if you leave the briefing early, which is like almost a fourth wall breaking sort of thing where it's like they're kind of it's not muted, by the way. It's the music just doesn't play when you come out of there like that. It might be like a fourth wall breaking sort of Easter egg where it's like you backing out of the briefing is like Snake saying, "Get me the hell out of here! I don't want to do this mission. Fuck off!" And then all that happens basically. They talk him out of it. They tell him, "You're gonna do this mission. This vessel's already headed there. We weren't really asking you. We're forcing it on you." And then he says all that stuff about, "We're just giving you back your purpose in life as a soldier, yada yada." It is pretty fucked up though, isn't it? They just took him out of his comfy life in Alaska and said, "Fuck you and your dog mushing, you're doing this." In fact, in the very first briefing, he already got the shot with the fox tie in it. Like, damn. Never had a say in the matter to begin with. Alright, now we can watch the rest. So we watched File 00, Mission Description. Now File 1, Operation Outline. Infiltration Method. So yeah, as you can see with the fully 3D character models and the room and everything, I can actually control the cameras and switch between cameras and move them around to watch the scene.
Tell me about the nuclear weapon disposal facility.
The disposal facility includes a hardened underground base. Even with our most advanced intelligence gathering equipment, we can't tell what's happening inside.
So, someone needs to penetrate, gather intelligence, and report back. Sounds like a spy movie. What's the insertion method?
Well, an
Naomi's
alien solution is
reaction, what the
impossible.
fuck? She's like,
Not with this storm going on.
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
Approach?
Yes, within a few miles of it. The facility is equipped with sonar detection capabilities. They'd be able to hear our engine or propeller noise.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV.
Launch?
Same as a torpedo, only this has no propulsion device of its own. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim.
You want me to swim in sub-zero Alaskan water?
Don't worry. That suit represents the latest advances in polythermal technology. The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As
there's
always,
a suit on the wall there.
this is a one-man sneaking mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP.
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
It's like an action movie and he does this.
What's the time limit?
24 hours. They say they'll launch after 24 hours.
Do they say what the target will be?
So far, they haven't mentioned the target.
When did the countdown start?
5 hours ago.
It's like, fuck, so I don't even have 24 hours. I actually have fucking 19. And I'm not even there yet. I'm still naked in this lab. File 2, operation members. Person in charge of the operation. Real quick before we go in there, I gotta say, have you noticed how Roy Campbell's voice actor has changed? Like, it's been 5 years, but like... Or, wait, 6, right? I keep doing that wrong. 1998, but they probably recorded the line way before the game released, so actually been longer. But whatever. It's been about, 5-6 years, whatever. And his voice acting is very different, isn't it? Like, him reprising his role, you can tell it's still him, but his voice has gotten deeper and more gruff. And he also talks like the Colonel just as a character. He just sounds so different now. He sounds so much more like cool, calm, collected, and sort of professional. And I feel like he had more inflections in his voice that made him sound a little bit more like a novice, kind of, in the original Metal Gear Solid. Like, it's night and day. If you go back and watch my previous streams, like, you can see it, like, you can hear it. Right now he sounds so, like, sort of almost robotic and methodical. It's strange how his voice acting has changed for the same character. But it's the same voice actor. And on that topic, I remember what I was going to say. What I was actually going to say was, David Hayter actually had a big part. Like, he got really passionate about this series once he got cast in, like, the first game. But also, especially after Metal Gear Solid 2. So he got so into it, and I guess he became, like, buddies with Hideo Kojima and some of the other people. He got so into it that he actually went out of his way to personally ensure that they could get most of the original voice actors from the first game back for this remake. He was, like, so passionate about this game, he was like, we gotta get all the original voice cast from the original game into this remake. Fuck it. He went out of his way to do that himself. I read that many years ago when this game first came out. Or shortly after. That he actually did that. He went out of his way to do that. So it does kind of suck even more that he did get shafted for Metal Gear Solid 5. But that's a whole nother story. And again, I haven't even played Metal Gear Solid 5, so I can't even judge that game. But anyway, let's continue.
Colonel, who are you speaking for?
Naturally, I'm representing the U.S. government.
So who's in supervisory control of this operation?
The President of the United States.
So there's a lot of crap hitting fans in the White House basement.
No. At this point, they're still video conferencing with each other.
If that's a real nuclear warhead, shouldn't they issue a COG?
Not yet. The Secretary of Defense has operational control and is fully aware of the situation. After you infiltrate, if you determine they possess nuclear launch capabilities, a COG will be issued.
Well, if they haven't relocated to the nuclear shelter under Mount Washington, I suppose there isn't that much reason to worry. Yet. Is the National Security Agency in on this?
Yes, and so is the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency.
The DIA? I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this.
They'll be sending us some support.
We don't need desk jockeys. We need a nuclear weapons specialist.
Of course. A nuclear weapons specialist has already been assigned to us.
She just took his cigarette and stamped it out on the ground right in front of him. She's like, "Stop it, bitch." He didn't say a fucking word. He was like, "Alright, fine, whatever. You win, for now." But he has the last laugh in the end when he smuggles his smokes through his stomach, like we heard before. I like that they added more shit to this. They're having fun with it since they have a full 3D animated thing going on now.
We need backup from a specialist. I'm just an amateur when it comes to nuclear weapons.
I know. That's why I've requested the assistance of a military analyst named Nastasha Romanenko. She'll be providing you backup by codec.
A female analyst?
She's built up an impressive record as an advisor for the Nuclear Emergency Search Team. Contact her if you have any questions. She's also an expert on high-tech weapons.
Where's she working from?
Her home in Los Angeles.
California? California's a lot different than this place.
I can attest to that. From what the little I've seen of Alaska, yes. Me living in California, I still have to visit Alaska. Then I can actually say. Now I know for certain, right? I gotta get up there sometime. Can you actually cross by land to Alaska? Like, or do you have to go through Canada? Or by boat if you don't want to go through Canada? I don't know. I think you have to go through Canada, don't you? Fuck, I'll have to get my passport renewed if I want to go there. Unless I fly, of course. But I kind of want to drive up the coast. Whatever. Anyway.
Colonel, you're retired. Why are you involved in this?
Because there aren't many people who know Foxhound as well as I do.
Is that the only reason?
I've been soldiering for a long time. I don't know anything else. I guess even though I'm getting a little old, I still love to be in the field.
Oh, shit! You're a lousy liar. Tell me the real reason.
Okay, Snake. Sorry. I'll be frank. A person very dear to me is being held hostage.
Who is it?
My niece, Meryl.
What was your niece doing there?
Several soldiers were reported missing the day of the revolt, and my niece was one of those called in as an emergency replacement.
She looks like you.
She's my little brother's girl. He died in the Gulf War, and since then I've been watching after her.
We all know it's actually his daughter.
A personal
No.
motive, Colonel. That's not very soldierly.
I'm retired. I'm just an old man now. And I'm your friend.
Since when are we friends?
I've thought of us as friends since the fall of Zanzibar land.
Haven't you had enough of a moody bastard like me?
No. That's the part of you I trust.
Dylan!
Please, Snake. Save my niece, Meryl.
All right. But I have 2 conditions.
Name them.
1. No more secrets between us. I want complete disclosure at all times. And 2. I'll only accept orders directly from you, Colonel. No cutoffs involved, okay?
Agreed. That's why I was called. But one thing.
What?
I'm not a colonel anymore. Just a retired old warhorse.
I understand, Colonel.
Aw, look at that. Like good friends, as if they grew up together or something, right? They lean back together, just like at the same time. Really painting them out to be like really buddy-buddy with each other. That's why I played the,
Dylan!
sound effects. Dr. Naomi. She's just been listening this whole time. Has hardly talked much.
That doctor, is she part of this operation too?
She was in charge of Foxhound's gene therapy. She knows more about those men than anyone else.
So, she's used to seeing men naked.
Make no mistake, I'm not a nurse, I am a scientist.
By the way, what was that injection for?
It's a combination of nanomachines and an anti-freezing peptide so that your blood and other bodily fluids don't freeze, even at subarctic temperatures.
Nanomachines?
Not just one kind either. There are different types which will replenish the supply of adrenaline, nutrition, and sugar in your bloodstream.
Now I don't have to worry about food.
I also put some nootropics in there.
Say what?
Nootropics. A class of drugs which will help improve your mental functioning.
It'll make me smarter, huh? Anything else?
Yes. It's a type of stimulant. It'll keep you alert and responsive for 12 straight hours.
That was quite a cocktail. Anything else in there?
Those nanomachines will also keep your Codex batteries charged up.
I guess I can call you when I'm ready to go on a diet.
You're welcome.
You gotta love when they're able to re-deliver the same lines from like years ago, in the same way. Or almost. Pretty damn close anyway. File 3, detailed information. Hostages.
The chief of DARPA and the president of an arms manufacturing company. What business did they have at a nuclear weapons disposal facility?
The truth is that secret exercises were being conducted at the time the terrorist group attacked.
Must be extremely important exercises if those two were directly involved. Were they testing some kind of new advanced weapon?
I'm not privy to that information.
Do we know exactly where they're being held?
The DARPA chief has also been injected with a mini transmitter. As you get closer, you should be able to pick up his location on your radar.
Do they really have the ability to launch a nuclear missile?
They say they do. They even gave us the serial number of the warhead they plan to use.
Was the number confirmed?
I'm afraid so. At the very least, They've got their hands on a real nuclear warhead.
Isn't there some kind of safety device to prevent this type of terrorism?
Yes. Every missile and warhead in our arsenal is equipped with a PAL, which uses a discrete detonation code.
PAL?
Permissive Action Link. The safety control system built into all nuclear weapon systems. But even so, we can't rest easy.
Why not?
Because the DARPA chief knows the detonation code.
But even if they have a nuclear warhead, it must have been removed from its missile. All the missiles on these disposal sites are supposed to be dismantled. It's not that easy to get your hands on an ICBM.
What the hell's Naomi
That
doing
used to
back
be
there?
true. But since the end of the Cold War, you can get anything if you can pay the money.
Yay, capitalism. I said that last time too. Oh, I know I did. I'm just dicking around and trying to echo the same thing I said last time. The Terrorist Armament. What do we got?
How well armed are these terrorists? I know there was an exercise going on at the time they revolted.
They're heavily armed, I'm afraid.
What about their battle experience?
The 6 in charge are plenty tough. After all, they're foxhound people.
Hey, you're gonna make me blush.
The others are next-generation special forces. They're not your average grunts either.
So what exactly are they demanding?
A person's remains.
What the hell is going on here?
Remains.
That's right. To be more accurate, cell specimens which contain the individual's genetic information.
Cell specimens? Why would they want that?
The terrorists need them. You see, these next-generation special forces have been strengthened through gene therapy.
Genes? Strengthened?
You've heard of the Human Genome Project. They've been mapping the human genome and they're nearly finished. Following up on this research, the military has been working towards identifying those genes which are responsible for making effective soldiers.
There are genes that do that?
Yes, and using gene therapy, they're able to transplant those genes into regular soldiers.
Gene therapy?
I'll explain this part. With gene therapy, it becomes easy to remove genes that cause sickness and disease, or, alternatively, to splice in additional genetic material.
In other words, we can overcome all sorts of genetic diseases and at the same time add genetic characteristics as desired.
Okay, and so if you knew what genes were responsible for making the perfect soldier, you could implant them in the same way, right?
Yes, we could.
But it all depends on being able to isolate and identify those soldier genes.
And in order to do that, it's helpful if you can study the genetic information of one of the greatest soldiers ever.
One of the greatest soldiers ever.
The man they called the greatest warrior of the 20th century.
You don't mean Big Boss?
That's right. We've been working feverishly to identify the genes responsible for his incredible combat skill. So far, we've discovered about 60 of the so-called soldier genes.
So his body was recovered after all.
Yes, and his cells have remained frozen in a cryochamber. His genetic information is a priceless treasure to mankind.
Priceless to the military, perhaps.
His body was burned severely, but it was possible to restore his DNA
Thanks to
profile
Snake.
from just a single strand of his hair.
Oh, heck, it's like some kind of dinosaur theme park. And you're gonna put these genes into soldiers?
Jurassic
Yes.
Park reference,
We'll use
Loki.
a process that I discovered called gene targeting. The strongest soldiers don't become what they are by acquiring their skills through training or experience. We now know that hereditary factors are far more crucial for creating superior soldiers.
I think he was dusting himself off or something.
Snake, we can't hand over his body. It's more strategically important than any weapon of mass destruction.
I hear the terrorists are calling themselves the Sons of Big Boss.
The Sons of Big Boss. Tell me about these next-generation special forces.
They started out as an anti-terrorist special ops unit made up of former members of biochem units, technical escort units, and the nuclear emergency search team. Their purpose was to respond to threats involving next-generation weapons of mass destruction, including NBC weapons.
Until they were added, that is.
Who's they?
These guys didn't start out as regular army.
Looks like a pretty international group. Mercenaries?
Yeah, and it gets worse. Most of them were from a merc agency that I think you're familiar with. They were part of Big Boss's private guard. And after Big Boss went down, the military just bought out all their contracts.
Outer heaven.
After that, they were merged with our own VR unit Force 21 and retrained. If you ask me, these so-called next-generation special forces should be called simulated soldiers. They have no real battle experience.
Soldiers of the video game generation, huh?
Don't forget, they've all been strengthened with gene therapy. They carry genes which make them excellent soldiers. Don't get careless just because they don't have much experience.
I thought international law banned the military use of genetic therapy.
Yes, but those are just declarations, not actual treaties.
The interesting thing is that nearly every
words
member
on
of
paper.
the unit conspired in this attack.
Well, actually, she said declarations, not treaties, right? So they're not even words on paper yet. They're just vocal. Somebody just saying, we're banning this. But they haven't actually written it into an actual Monka TOS document. The reason for unanimous approval.
How can an entire unit be subverted to rebellion?
They're calling it a revolution.
Since they all went through the same gene therapy, they probably felt closer than brothers. They see the unit as their only family.
The Sons of Big Boss. But if they were regular army, they must have been interviewed periodically by army counselors.
According to their files, they all got straight A's on their psychological tests. They all seemed like fine, upstanding, patriotic soldiers.
But they all took part in the uprising?
No. Several people didn't show up on the day of the exercise. That's why there was a resupply of troops.
Was there any sign recently that something might be wrong?
There was a report a month ago that they were acting strangely.
Apparently, they consulted classified information about the soldier genes and performed their own gene therapy experiments.
They can do that, even without you?
Well, our gene therapy process is almost completely automated. And besides that, they're all geniuses with IQs over 180.
Even the existence of this genome army is a national secret of the highest order. We had been hoping to investigate this thing quietly, and deal with it behind closed doors. High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound, your former unit, and one that I was the commander of. An elite group combining firepower and expertise. They're every bit as good as when I was commanding them.
So they're
Delivered
still
those
around.
lines exactly like in the
There are
original.
6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mantis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise.
He forgot the rest.
Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter.
I think they were trying to...
Sounds like a bunch of cartoon characters.
And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound Squad Leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake.
Yes, and you're the only person who can stand against him.
Now it really sounds like an action movie, but also almost a fantasy movie. You're the only one who can stand against them. You are the one! Kind of like The Matrix, I guess. I will... No, that was another... I will be the one I was going to say. That's Jet Li in, what's that movie called? The One. That's what it's called. Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake, the man who shares your code name. The solid versus the liquid.
Tell me what you know.
He fought in the Gulf War as a teenager, the youngest person in the SAS. His job was to track down and destroy mobile Scud missile launching platforms. You were there too, I believe. Didn't you infiltrate Western Iraq with a platoon of Green Berets?
I was just a kid myself back then.
The details are classified, but it seems that originally, he penetrated the Middle East as a sleeper for the SIS.
He was a spy for the British Secret Intelligence Service?
But he never once showed his face in Century House. He was taken prisoner in Iraq, and after that there was no trace of him for several years. After you retired, he was rescued and became a member of Foxhound.
I thought that by the time I left, they were no longer using code names.
I don't know his real name. That information is so highly classified that even I can't look at it. Here's a photo of him. Pretty shocking, huh? His skin tone is different, but otherwise, you two are exact duplicates.
I have a twin?
I don't know the details, but it seems so. That's why we really need you for this mission.
You're the only one who can beat him. Now that I've met you, I know. You've got something that he doesn't.
Why don't I find that thought more comforting?
Looks like that's it. We're done. Yeah, and then they're pretty much the same place as last time.
I need to borrow your scissors.
What are you going to do?
Don't worry. Just gonna clean myself up a little.
Huh?
I don't want to be mistaken for the leader of the terrorists.
Even though Liquid has blonde hair and he has, you know, dark brown, and their skin tones also reflect that. Liquid is like lighter skin tone and Snake is darker. But their faces are identical. We saw that in the original game, and oh, you're gonna see it here too in a minute. But oh yeah, I forgot to comment. The way Campbell stopped when he was reading out the names of the Foxhound soldiers, he was just like, and he turns around, looking at Naomi. She's like, "Here." she knew what happened. He forgot. He had to look at the little tablet, and he was like, "All right." I think they were going for like boomer moment humor, basically, which is something I only kind of see nowadays. But I mean, back then the internet wasn't a big thing just yet either, so I'm sure that kind of humor would have existed a long time ago if it was. But it was kind of like, or like, I guess, a senior moment, as Leon from Resident Evil 4 would say, right? When talking to Sadler. He's all, "Can't remember the name, huh? A senior moment, perhaps." And so I was like, oh. Yeah, iconic Resident Evil 4 moment. Anyway, that's it for the briefing. Now we can actually start the game. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? Yeah, it looks good. Double checking the audio settings. Because I'll obviously be, after doing like action sequences and stuff like that, I'll be checking the audio again on my phone. See how it's going. Let me open that up and get it ready. Alright, we're all set. Let's do it! Double check my options. Rumble, type on. First person view switch toggle, that's very important. And yeah, we're good. Let's get going. File not found, yeah. I got nothing on here. Let's change that. New game. There's a bunch of difficulties now. Well, there's one more than there used to be. So before it was just easy, normal, and hard. Or I think, yeah, they just called it hard, right? It wasn't extreme yet. I think you had to unlock extreme, yeah. So same here. There is extreme, but you have to unlock it by beating the game first. But now they added a very easy. Not just easy, but very easy. I forget the differences between very easy and easy, because I just went from playing, back when I played this as a kid, I just went from playing very easy to extreme. I skipped all these. I just went to extreme when I wanted to test my skills. I talked about that before. I got to the Hind D fight, and that's where I got stuck. On extreme. Alright, very easy. Gonna make this cinematic as always. And then you can, no matter which difficulty you choose, you can actually choose if you want a radar, or the Type 1 and 2, like we did in the options. This doesn't work the way you might think, the way it's written here. There's a bit of a miscommunication. Type 1 says radar for novices, displayed during intrusion mode 2. This doesn't mean during an alert. It's like, it only displays when you're in caution. So like if you trigger an alert, it'll still disappear like it did in the classic game. And during evasion, when they've lost sight of you, you still can't see it. Once they once they've completely lost you and it goes into caution where they go into search mode and start looking for you, actively looking for you, and they don't know where you are. But they know you're in the area, so they're looking for you, right? That's when you get the radar comes back at that point. And Type 2 is just, it won't come back at all until even the caution status is gone. You have to be completely back to sneak mode, basically. That's the difference. So it's actually not a humongous difference. It's not going to help that much. Because you still lose it for alert. Actual, like, full red alert mode. Game start? Yes. Let's do it!
Stay alert. He'll be through here. I know it. I'm going to swat down a couple of bothersome flies.
Really makes it sound like a spy movie, doesn't it? This music right here. Here we go, first codec call. See what it sounds like.
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake?
Looks like the elevator in the back is the only way up.
Just as I expected. You'll have to take the elevator to the surface, but make sure nobody sees you. If you need to, contact me by codec. The frequency is 140.85. When you want to use the codec, push the pause button and then the A button. When we need to contact you, the codec will beep. When you hear that noise, press the pause button and then the A button to receive the call. The codec's receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear. No one but you will be able to hear it.
Got it. Okay, I'm ready to go.
And we're off to the races. Alright. I just saw my cams covering a little bit of the codec call thing, so just like what I did in the original run, I didn't say this, but you guys might have noticed it. I played the original game. Oh, there we go. I can do it now.
Snake, you'll have to crawl to get through there. First, crouch down by pressing the crawl button, and then press the control stick in the direction you want to crawl.
Just remember that you can't move very fast when you're crawling.
You can stand up by pressing the crawl button again.
It doesn't look so good for this game because it has better graphics and the aspect ratio is different. But do you see how I made it smaller so I'm not covering their faces? I think for this game, you'll see now it's much more noticeable, this big black bar right under my hand here. See this? So I think for this game, I'll just shrink my webcam, which is what I did in the original game first, the first time. Hold on. To fix this problem. And then I realized I was too small, so I re-increased my camera size and then I made the game frame a little smaller, right? But for this game, I feel like it's much more intrusive to have that big-ass black bar in the way, so... Let's change it back to how it used to be. I think this is... Okay, there we go. Yeah, I feel like it's much more intrusive in this game, so... We'll just leave it at that. So instead, I'll actually shrink my webcam a little bit. Here, let's see. Oop. I meant to do this. So I'm gonna call Campbell. He's probably gonna repeat himself, but I'm gonna adjust my webcam while he's talking. He might not say much, so I'm gonna have to do this fast. Let's see.
Snake, you'll have to crawl to get through there. First, crouch down by pressing the crawl button, and then press the control stick in the direction you want to crawl. Snake.
I just remembered you can... Oh fuck, I forgot to mute during that. Sorry for the echo. I forgot I could have just paused it and then I don't have to move really fast. See how that looks. That's good. Yeah, I don't want to cover their faces during codec calls because that's part of the experience of the stories. There's a lot of codec calls and their facial expressions are part of that for a lot of dramatic moments, so it's just a tiny bit smaller. I don't know. I feel like I'll go past. What was that? Let me try again. It's so hard to do this with a mouse. Alright, fuck it. That's good enough. If I keep trying, we're just gonna be here forever. Fuck it. AP sensor. This is new. A sensor detecting life forms. Rumbles on enemy approach. All other rumbles will be off when sensor is activated. So it's an extra detection mechanism for, what's it called? It's an extra detection mechanism to help you when enemies are coming by, especially like in areas where you don't have your radar. Put this on and the controller will stop pulsing. The rumble, the vibration the controller will pulse as enemies come near you, basically. Or, well, life forms. Anything, really. Not just people, so. Not a bad little beginner tool. I don't know if it's available on all difficulties or not. They hired a military advisor for this. I just saw that in the opening credits there. Uh-oh, how do I climb up? Uh-oh. Oops. Maybe it's... Hey... No. Oh. I think they noticed I'm stuck.
Snake, you can climb onto anything up to about waist height by pressing the action button. This might come in handy.
Alright, thank you. So it's not automatic anymore like it was in the first game. You have to push the action button, which I think is Y. Yep, there we go. Well, at least the elevator's here. What's this? M9. Oh yeah. New weapon that was added in Metal Gear Solid 2. The M9. Tranquilizer with suppressor. Press A button to aim and release the fire. Equipped with a laser pointer. Now what they don't explain here is the M9 is basically a dart gun. It, Wait, that's A, right? Yeah. It's a dart gun. It shoots tranquilizers, like it says. This wasn't available in the original. By the way, this is the first-person aiming mode. We'll see it better with the visor, without the visor later, but... Oh yeah, you can strafe. Look at the radar. Like, your character actually... Snake actually moved left and right. As opposed to just the camera. So you can actually dodge bullets and shit like this. But... How do I switch to... Oh, right. Nope. I don't want to waste a bullet, so... There we go. We'll find our way. But anyway. Sometimes you have to unequip a weapon. Because see, there's nothing there for him to hit. So, he does an upward knock if there's a pistol equipped. You know, downward knock if there isn't. Anyway. I was gonna say something else, but I got distracted by me doing other things, so I totally forgot. Oh yeah, so the tranquilizer, well, it does what it says. It puts them to sleep instead of killing them. So you can now do pacifist runs, essentially. Which is a big thing in this series, as you'll soon find out, as the story goes on. So yeah, just use the tranquilizer instead of... Oh no.
Is there somebody there? Who is that? Enemy sighted. Requesting
Oh
backup.
no! Does he know I'm in here? Already got busted. Wait. Isn't the other guy still there though? Where'd he go? They really don't know I just crawled in here, do they? This is great! Ghosted his ass like it was nothing.
You suck!
See, so Type 1 radar gives you the radar during this phase. Type 2, we still want to be able to see the radar. That's a great way to demonstrate, right? I tried crawling, but I wasn't fast enough, man. And that's how the tranquilizer gun works. Something new that was a quality of life feature from Metal Gear Solid 2 that was added. Unequip your weapon once he's knocked out or tranquilized. Tranquilized is denoted by the Z's, they're snoring. Knocked out is stars around their head when you just beat them up or choke them out, which we saw in the VR missions and all that, because I didn't even know you could do that in the first game. But anyway, you unequip your weapon, you push the shoot button, A, on the game controller, you can pick them up and put them down, and do that over and over, and you can get items out of them. Like that. See? Nice quality of life feature from Metal Gear Solid 2. However, if you keep doing this, it wakes them up faster. Whether you knock them out or tranquilize them, they will wake up a lot faster if you do this. You can pick them up from either side. I'm not sure if that affects anything. See? Oh, it does. You get different items. And just because you don't get anything right away, doesn't mean they won't eventually drop some. Sometimes you actually have to do that several times, so you can still get one more item out of them. It makes it very easy to replenish rations and ammo. So it's a nice little QOL update. Because yeah, before in Metal Gear Solid 1, you could only kill them, and as soon as they died, their bodies would just disappear. And even if you just knocked them out, their bodies wouldn't disappear, but you wouldn't be able to pick them up. You couldn't do that to get items. So that's a nice new little feature that was added in MGS2 and this remake. Now the dog tag thing. I said I was going to demonstrate the dog tag thing. I might fuck this up. Bear with me. I need to get this guy's pattern. Okay, so it goes that way. Okay, that's pretty easy.
Freeze.
So you can hear his heartbeat, right? So, I unequipped the weapon so I wouldn't shoot. You can just shoot away if you want. The better thing to not make noise if you don't have a suppressor. If you don't want to shoot him, you can't put your gun down, so you have to unequip it. You can't unequip it in first person, so I had to get out of first person, and then while still holding the shoot button, I had to, you know, push R to unequip. Make sure you re-equip your weapon again before you get in front of him, because once he can see you, if you don't have your weapon, he'll see an opportunity to escape and he'll shoot at you. And run away, or at least knock you out, and then run away to go trigger the alert. That's something else new about this game that wasn't in the first one. Enemies now actually have to call it in. So if they see you, you get the exclamation mark, you hear the sound, the alert sound. It doesn't trigger the alert right away anymore. Now they actually have to call it in. They actually pull out the radio and they tell them, hey, I found the guy. You saw it happen earlier. The alert didn't trigger immediately. So even if someone spots you, you still have a chance. You still have a chance to knock their ass out or kill them. Or tranquilize them. Take your pick. Really quick before they actually call it in and a bunch of soldiers just swarm your ass. So it's a little bit more forgiving now than it was in the original game for that too. Anyway, I digress. Once you stick them up like that and they're like being held up, make sure if you did it from behind, make sure to re-equip your weapon before you get in front of them. If you did it from in front, don't unequip your weapon at all. Just shoot away somewhere if you have to, if you're trying not to shoot them, just aim away and shoot somewhere else. But do not unequip your weapon, or they will just punch you and then run away and call it in. They'll see a chance to escape, they'll take it. So, keep your weapon out, and then...
Freeze.
See, he was putting his hands down too, because I was slacking off. And then aim at his face.
Help.
Doesn't matter if it's a tranquilizer gun or not. Any shimmies? Oh, these guys don't... These would be missable dog tags, so they don't have any. But this is where the dog tags will pop out. I'll have to demonstrate with some guys up on the heliport instead. But this guy, I guess we'll just put him out of his... Oh, hold on. Let me, get behind him.
Freeze.
Oh. And then... I don't want to kill him, so I'm not going to push it over and over. We saw that in the... Oh! That should knock him out. Anyway, let's check these lockers really quick. Stun grenade. We can put them in here. There. And you can hide in lockers. So new ways to hide. A lot of new features from Metal Gear Solid 2. It's really nice. Now, if a locker is locked, like this one, there's still hope. I don't know if when they're knocked out they can come out of the locker though. We'll see. We'll wait. But if they're locked, you can still get the item from inside if they have one by doing this. Oh shit! He hit all 3 lockers with that spin kick. Hold on. There. The spin kick is an AoE, so it hit all 3. I didn't want to beat them all up, so yeah, that happens, and then maybe you'll see an item, maybe you won't. But it is a nice way to get it, still. If you want to avoid beating up the other doors like that, leave it open. And then, when you do this, you won't hit it anymore, so. I don't think he can get out. Like, he's at 1 star, so he should be getting up soon. But if you have him in a locker, they stay permanently asleep, I think. Or knocked out, or whatever. I didn't even see that ration in the corner, dude. Something I don't like about the game, about this game in particular, is that it has a permanent green filter on it, like Resident Evil 5. For those who have played Resident Evil 5, you know what I'm talking about? There's like a weird green filter for some reason that you can't get rid of. It's just everything's green. It's like the Matrix. The Matrix suffers from this too. But there, it's intentional and it makes sense. It's part of the story. It's like trying to demonstrate that they're in a fake environment, that they're in a green, you know, they're in a digital realm that's all depicted by green coding. But, anyway. I have rations and AP sensor, I guess. And this. Anything underneath the... Can you even crawl under this? No, okay. Alright. We got everything. Let's get the fuck out of here. Oh shit! Look at this intro. The music, dude! We are in a spy action movie for real, though. Dude, this is definitely the 2000s right now. The music and everything. See, now the graphics are good enough that they can actually have the bandana, like, trailing off him like that. In Metal Gear Solid, well, in the original, it was just the headband around his head, but there was no tails, like, coming off of it, you know? It wasn't trailing off, basically.
It's Snake. I'm in front of the disposal facility.
That took a long time. I guess you're feeling a little rusty.
Don't worry. It's been a while, but it's all coming back to me.
How's that sneaking suit working out?
I'm nice and dry, but it's a little hard to move.
Bear with it. It's designed to prevent hypothermia. This is Alaska, you know.
Take it easy. I'm grateful. If it weren't for your suit and your shot, I would have turned into a popsicle out there.
An anti-freezing peptide, Snake. All of the genome soldiers in this exercise are using it.
I see. I'm relieved to hear that. Already tested, huh? By the way, how's the diversionary operation going?
2 F-16s just took off from Galena and are headed your way. The terrorist radar should have already picked them up.
A Hind D. Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here?
I have no idea, but it looks like our little diversion got their attention.
See, they really are twins. They look exactly like each other. It's much easier to notice it in this game, obviously, because of the graphics.
Now's your best chance to slip in unnoticed. There are only 18 hours left until their deadline. You've got to hurry.
Wow, he must be crazy to fly Hind in this kind of weather.
Who's that?
Oh, sorry. I haven't introduced you two yet. This is Mei Ling. She was assigned to us as our visual and data processing specialist. She designed your codec, as well as your Soliton radar system. Contact her if you have any questions about either of them.
Nice to meet you, Snake. It's an honor to speak to a living legend like yourself. What's wrong?
Nothing. I just didn't expect a world-class designer of military technology to be so... cute.
You're just flattering me.
No, I'm serious. Well, I know I won't be bored for the next 18 hours.
What's this? I'm being hit on by the famous Solid Snake? But I'm surprised. I didn't think you'd be so frank.
Looks like we both have a lot to learn about each other.
It does, doesn't it? Well, let's get to know each other better. But first, let me explain about your Soliton radar system. The bright dot in the middle is you, Snake. The red dots are your enemies, and the blue cone shape represents their field of vision.
Be careful, Snake. The genome soldiers have highly developed senses of hearing and vision due to their gene therapy. Make sure you don't let them see you.
First, I want you to infiltrate the disposal site and look for the DARPA chief.
The DARPA chief was injected with the same GPS transmitting nanomachines as you.
He should appear on your radar as a green dot.
Get whatever information you can from him about the terrorists. If he's alive, that is.
Snake, your radar isn't affected by the weather, but if you're discovered by an enemy, you won't be able to use it.
Yes, it gets jammed easily, I'm afraid.
Yes, it's all made from currently existing technology. You won't be able to use it in an area with strong harmonic resonance, so be careful.
We'll be monitoring your movements by radar, so contact us by codec anytime you want.
Got it. I'll call if I'm feeling lonely.
Seriously, Snake. We're here to back you up, so call if you need some information or advice.
I'm also in charge of your mission data. Contact me if you want me to save your current status. My frequency is 140.96. It's a dedicated frequency for saving data. Don't forget it.
Remember, except for your binoculars, you need to arm yourself with whatever weapons you can find.
I remember. First I'm strip searched by Dr. Naomi here, and then all my weapons are taken away. Imagine yourself put in that position.
Well, if you make it back in one piece, maybe I'll let you do a strip search on me.
Hold you to that, Doctor. By the way, sorry to disappoint you, but I did manage to smuggle out my smokes.
How did you do that?
In my stomach. Thanks to the shot you gave me that suppressed my stomach acids.
Cigarettes? How are those going to help you?
You never know.
He's right about that too. At first, I was also like with Mei Ling. I was like, how would they help you? What the fuck's
If you want to get in, there's the front door. It's the fastest way, but there's too much risk of being spotted by the enemy.
Yeah, I can't just knock on the door and ask them to let me in.
What about the air duct near the door?
One sentry on the left, and one on the right. They're armed with 5.56ers and pineapples.
There should also be a duct on the second floor.
I can't see it from here.
I'll let you decide the best COA. I'm counting on you, Snake.
Five, sixes, and pineapples. You know what the gas chamber smells like, Jake? Pine oil. That's where you're gonna go. Pine oil heaven. Anyway, so there's another feature they added from MGS2, which is this. You can hang off ledges to hide. But of course you have limited grip, and when it runs out, you fall. And if you're hanging off a ledge like this, you're gonna fall to your death. So... Now, I just saw something I never knew about on GameFAQs when I was looking up Easter eggs for this. Apparently you can upgrade your grip level by doing pull-ups. Which isn't just what I did right now. Like, here's an actual pull-up to increase your grip level, is this. You hang here, and then you push L and R at the same time. There, that's one successful pull-up. You saw my grip level started going down a lot faster when he was holding himself up to here, because that takes way more strength. You have to do 100 of those. So do a few, come back up, do another few, come back up, all the way till 100, and you get to grip level 3, I believe, so you can hang off ledges for a very long time. 100 pull-ups. Starting to sound like One Punch Man over here. I ran 10 kilometers a day, did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100 pull-ups every single day, or whatever the hell it was. Never actually seen more than like an episode or two of the show, I can't remember how it went. Oh, nice! When I was testing this off stream, for some reason, I didn't try this. I didn't know you could do this. But, right now, I had a flashback. I was like, wait, can't you do a pop and shoot? Yes, you can. Haha! You put away your weapon, you don't go back, but... Here, let's see. I'll waste a bullet, who cares? Yep. Let go of the fire button, you go back into hiding. Nice. Pretty cool. Oh shit! That guy, I didn't realize that guy was coming. Uh-oh. Oh lord, he coming. Oh, he's gonna see the footprints. Oh, he saw. Oh shit! Look, the radar turns into a. He's gonna. This is like a fucking cartoon, dude. Hold on. I wanna do something.
What can I do for you, Snake?
I'm gonna fuck around a little bit. I can't help it. All these new quality of life updates, I gotta try them out. Save complete. Very easy. Oh look, there's a date and time too. October 12th of 2022. For anyone wondering when this was recorded.
Snake, remember what de Gaulle said. The graveyards are full of indispensable men. Snake, you're all alone and surrounded by bad guys. Try to be careful and avoid getting into a fight whenever you can.
You're right. Wow, you know all sorts of great quotes, don't you?
Well, both my parents are from Guangdong, China, but I was born and raised in America. I've always liked reading literature from both sides. Kinda keeps me in touch. I'll share some more quotes with you if you like.
I'm looking forward to it. But to tell you the truth, I'd like to learn more about you.
She gave us a wink?
Well, I'll think about it.
I think so. Her voice actor is new, I think. I'm pretty sure that's not the original Mei Ling voice actress. So I never saved this early last time, so that's a new one. I don't know if she said that whole thing we just heard like that last time, but because I never saved this early. I saved this early for a reason, because I'm going to do something that I don't actually want to keep. I'm probably going to reset and reload the save. But, before I forget what I was doing.
Freeze.
Cool. Okay, good. He doesn't see me.
Freeze.
Stay cool.
Don't kill me.
Watch, he's gonna drop dog tags. There they are. Boom. And then... Alexander... what? Ignatoris? Yeah, they all have names. Let's check them for items. Here. Here we got M9 bullets. Just made back our ammo. We're full. Yeah, check them from each side. That usually helps to get more items. And again, you can still get more. If you're lucky, you can just keep doing that. You might even get like a ration or something. I tried it off stream, and yeah, I got another ration maxed out with this gun. I don't really need it right now, especially since I'm not going to say what I'm about to do. But this is yet another feature that was added. Aside from being able to drag bodies into lockers, there's also these special doors in outdoor areas. You see that one right there? On the bottom of the screen? You can take bodies dead or just passed out like this, and make them permanently disappear from the map by doing this. And off he goes. Dead. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth though, because I don't like to kill people unless I absolutely have to, so, you know. That's why I saved it, because I was going to reload, because I don't want to save that death. That's the fact that I killed that guy. But now that you know, I might keep it just because we're doing 2 runs of this like last time anyway. We're going to do both endings. I kind of want to know if his death counts. Like, does that count as a kill, or do you actually have to, like, kill him, like, shoot him dead? I don't know. I'm pretty sure that counts as a kill. I'll probably reload anyway, just because, honestly, what's it called? How am I going to keep track? Because there's going to be a few other instances where I have to kill people, and then I'm not going to know. I'm going to be like, wait, how many did I kill that time? How am I going to keep track if I killed the same exact amount in both runs, and then be able to add in this guy as a variable? I won't be able to, so I'm just, fuck it. I'm just, whatever. Yeah, I'll keep, fuck it, I'll just keep it going for now. It's not that big of a deal, really. I had to show off the new feature. I didn't like having to kill the guy, but, you know. It's a new thing you can do. To get rid of bodies. Because now, even if you kill them, they don't disappear, they stay there. And then their comrades can show up and be like, oh shit! And they'll trigger an alert. Or at least, they'll call for backup and it'll go into caution because they'll know there's somebody here. Because it's a dead body. Speaking of that, I think if a comrade finds one of their friends passed out on the floor because you knocked them out or you put them to sleep, they kick them awake. They're like, hey, get the fuck up, basically. And the guy's like, well, what's going on? That's something else I'll demonstrate later when I can find 2 soldiers that are near each other.
A surveillance camera.
Yes. He still says that so surprised. They didn't change a damn thing. This reminds me of Resident Evil 1 Remake. It's so faithful to the original. In a lot of ways. While improving and changing things that needed to change. Or just add, you know, to add flair to it. Like the cutscene being more dramatic and stuff. Reminds me a lot like that. It reminds me a lot of that. That guy's already falling asleep on his own over there. He's got that security camera. The SOCOM pistol is still here, like before. Yep. Well, at least on easy and very easy. I don't know about higher difficulties, but... all the new sound effects are so much cooler, like... these sound effects are all taken from MGS2, by the way. The footsteps on the metal floor, there's something very ASMR about them for me. Oh yeah, now we can do this. You guys remember I tried to do this on the PS1 version and I couldn't? You actually had to stand up to shimmy. Now you can actually shimmy while crouched. So much better for evading this particular camera. But just in general, cameras. Haha, fool! Deceived. Is there anything worth getting over here, though? Yeah. Wait for it. Also, the Soliton radar is more honest about a camera's cone of vision now and where its blind spot is. See how there's a big blind spot between the cone of vision and the actual red dot that represents the camera itself? It's a little easier to see where you can actually stand safely under it. Damn! These guys showed up immediately! Dude, this chase music though. Like I got headphones on. Oh, he's coming. That guy's awake now too. Shit. Fuck, he's on to me. You see how the new guards that come out, the attack team, is what they call them. They have like extra armor on and grenades and stuff, right? Those guys don't drop dog tags. They're just because they keep respawning if you have an alert. I think they don't stop spawning. I think. But yeah, those guys don't have dog tags. They don't force you to trigger alerts to get dog tags. Thank God. The dog tags are only from enemies that were already there, not from these backup dudes who appear when you trigger an alert. Is it worth it? Well, I can't even get it from this side. Fuck! I thought I could dodge it that way. Dude, I love the music. Oh shit, he's coming this way. Oh shit. Fuck it.
Who's there?
Oh yeah, the tuck and roll dodge. That's a thing now. We're out of here. I didn't want the camera to spot me, so that's why I threw that. Don't worry, we'll get plenty of chaff grenades later anyway. It's all good. Dude, I love the new alert music. It's actually different for every area. It's not always the same alert music.
Snake, this is McDonald Miller. It's been a long time.
Master, what are you doing here?
I quit being a boot camp instructor, so I moved out here for some peace and quiet. I'm in retirement, just like you. Once in a while, I still help train the Alaskan Scouts.
Passing on the skills to a new generation, huh?
Campbell told me about the situation here. I thought I might be of some use.
There's no one I'd rather have in a foxhole than you.
Well, I know lots about survival in a harsh environment. I've lived in Alaska longer than you. So call me if you have any questions about the flora or fauna out here. My frequency is 141.80. Those mice are Alaskan field mice. Don't worry, they can't hurt you. Wild field mice don't have a thick layer of fat, but they can still survive the bitter winters here without hibernating. They dig tunnels under the snow, and that's where they stay warm.
Survival specialists, huh? I should learn from them.
But there's a dark side too. Sometimes the males will kill and eat offspring that are not their own.
To ensure the survival of their own genes, right?
Yeah, pretty brilliant program, huh? If there are mice, that means there must be an exit somewhere. Follow the mice.
So I was trying to look it up really quick. I think this, because I know I asked about this when we first played the first Metal Gear Solid, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, he's not on here as a list of new characters. Master Miller is, I think, the same Miller from Metal Gear 2. It was just an optional radio call that you could do, I think. Because he doesn't appear in this list that says new characters that were introduced here. Master Miller is a drill instructor and survival coach. Originally named MacDonald Benedict Miller. Yeah, known simply as MacDonald Miller in Metal Gear 2. It is the same guy. Well, supposed to be the same guy, but we already played Metal Gear Solid 1. We know who that really is. Not him anymore. He was an Asian-looking man with black hair in the MSX2 version of Metal Gear 2. A redesign has him with blonde hair and aviator sunglasses in the Metal Gear Solid games. But We all know why. That redesign... See, when it comes to a series like this that breaks the fourth wall a lot, you can't just take things at face value like that. You know, you look at them and you're... Sure, in this case, they were able to get away with it because everybody got redesigned. And Metal Gear 2, Snake looked like... Literally was a takeover of... what's his name? Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon. So it's like... And Colonel Roy Campbell looked like the Colonel guy from Rambo. Like, they were all based on movie characters, you know. Petrovich looked like Einstein, literally. Albert Einstein. So they were able to get away with this in a clever way, where it's like, oh, this is just, you know, he just looks very different because, like everybody else, he's been redesigned to be his own character instead of being, you know, probably based off some other movie character back then. But then, plot twist, it's not actually Master Miller. The reason he looks different is not just that, it's also the fact that he's not actually Master Miller. He's, you know, Liquid Snake in disguise, as we saw in the Metal Gear Solid. So, okay, so I just needed to confirm. I was like, he is intended to be the same Miller from Metal Gear 2. I needed to get that off my... I don't know why I never looked it up between streams, but now I know for sure. Cool. Going underwater. Holy shit, dude. I'm drowning! I think in the original game, your oxygen meter actually lasted long enough to get through that without taking damage. So I think if you play on normal, or even easy, just like in the original game's easy and normal mode, you start with a small health bar. Here, you, like I said, you start with the full health bar. I think I mentioned it back then too. And your health on normal or easy will actually slowly increase, just like in the original game, as you defeat a new boss, basically. With each boss you defeat. Again, it's very Metroidvania style of game, like Metroid, Castlevania. Like I said before, a lot of action-adventure games were like that, basically. They just had their own flavor, you know? I like how you can turn 360 degrees in such a small little shaft. Only when you're in first person, though. This sounds familiar, doesn't it? It's like the same exact music, yeah. It's literally the same music. From last time we were here. Oh, this fence closed this time. Last time it was open. I think. Either way, we know our way around here now, so...
Use the elevator to change floors. There should be a cargo elevator that you can take down somewhere around there. Try to find it.
And I like how they brought back the same exact artwork from the codec calls in the original game. They did not change that. Even though they could have done 3D character models like they do in Metal Gear Solid 2. They chose to keep it true to the original. Oh shit!
Who is that?
Shh!
Enemy sighted. Request.
Oh god. I fucking meant to punch him and I accidentally shot him.
Over there.
I totally forgot about the other guy. I was so focused on the dude that was on the left. Oh god, where are they? How did he not see me? Fuck this. What do I get for rambling and not paying attention to my fucking radar? What I originally wanted to do. Ah yes, there was something here. Well, now there is. Boom, baby. Topped off. They woke up the guy and I shot with the dart. Now you can hear the radio conversations, just like the police radio that you can listen into on GTA when you're wanted. There's a way that I like to ambush and surprise enemy guards that I couldn't do in the original game because there was no dodge roll or tackle roll. But there is now. Hold on. Is he gonna come back? Or circle around? That. No, I didn't want it. Oh no. Huh? Now see, this is where it's. That's what I get for not throwing it. This is where it screws you over to have previous. I wanted to unequip the weapon so I could pick him up and shuffle him for items. But I had the M9s to switch back to the fucking chaff grenade. I had to do that. See? There's advantages and disadvantages to whichever one you choose to do. Either unequip or switch to previous can screw you over. Is he gonna wake him up? Okay, yeah. I thought he was gonna wake him up.
It's him. Everyone stay on guard.
Understood. Reinforcements are on their way to the first floor of the tank hangar.
Shit.
Exercise extreme caution.
Oh, they're on the second floor, okay. They're about to come down, right? Yeah. The attack team, they just kind of spawn into existence on the second floor and then come down here. See how they have different uniforms? That's how you can tell which soldiers are from the attack team and which ones are just the regular guards. I like how hitting both can make you like somehow stand on your tiptoes or something. You just get up. There they go. Their walking speed, their legs don't match their actual movement speed, so they kind of like they're moonwalking a little bit, like they're sliding along the ground. That is so jank. Anyway, let's stop dicking around and keep going. Oh shit, it's 2 hours already. Oh, it's on me! Shit! Oh my god, of course they're coming this way. I thought if I shimmied crouching it wouldn't have seen me, but it did. It totally fucking saw my ass. Now what do I do? I'm gonna have to go back into the vent. I don't have enough time. No, they'll shoot the shit at me before I get in there. Oh great, now I'm bleeding. They can peek inside. Let's say if there's like blood traces, they can actually like be like, oh, I think he went in here, and they'll actually look inside the duct. You're not safe just because you go in there.
Return to your positions. Increase security.
So I remember that camera was there, but I thought maybe you could actually move closer before popping out by doing the crouch shimmy that was added in this game. That's why I got so close, well, you know, but the camera was still like, nope, I see you. I got busted immediately. Damn. A slight increase in the enemy AI's intelligence is also the fact that, you know...
I'm under enemy fire. Secure the perimeter.
The fact...
Reinforcements are on their way to the first floor of the tank hangar. Exercise extreme caution.
The fact that, if they see you just on the edge of their cone of vision, just on the edge, they'll do that thing where they go, huh? Like, is there someone there? I don't know if that was in the original or not, or if they just didn't see you until they just immediately were like, red alert, there he is. You know. I can't remember too well right now.
Recalling the attack team. Guard team, remain there.
You notice they didn't mention the VR training this time, not even in the briefing? Because this game doesn't have the VR missions anymore, unfortunately. Which again, that sucks because they actually are canon. Remember, there was that codec call we had where they said, where Snake literally said, oh yeah, thanks to my training on, my VR training that I did on the Discovery. The Ohio class submarine named the Discovery that we launched from. And then they used that as at the end of the trailer for the VR missions game. But yeah, this game doesn't have VR missions, sadly. Of course. He can actually hear you, I think. Yep. See, he hears the footsteps, so he's coming up now. In the first game, the footsteps were still quiet enough that the guy couldn't hear you down there. The first game, I should just say the original, right? Book. Oh, right, another new game mechanic. I forgot this wasn't added until Metal Gear Solid 2. Where is it? It's a publication with adult-oriented material. Full of girly photos and interesting columns. Press the A button to set. I think you can look at it. You have to actually set it though. Like, once you set it, you can't pick it back up. Like, it's like using a grenade. You lose it. If you could somehow zoom in there on Snake, you could probably see something, but yeah, it's a way to distract the guards. Maybe I'll use it in a minute just to... I know where I'm going to use it. There's a thermal goggles. See what that looks like. Hopefully not as blinding. Thermal goggles visualizes heat source distribution. Allows one to see in the dark. Claymores can be seen when used. Whoa! No, yeah, it still hurts my eyes, but this is still better. This is like Predator vision over here. Unlike the original game where, jeez, get the hell, oh god. Unlike the original game where it was just red. It just became red. That's much better. Oh, there's a... Wait, is it there? No, see, you don't... Okay, so I was right. There is no ladder unless you actually come in from the second floor. If you don't get a ladder. Oh, wait, there we go. Never mind. I guess you just can't be stuck to the wall. Alright, well, whatever. We're already here. Wait, is there anything... It works as substitute night vision for now. Better than nothing, right? Sorry, it does hurt my eyes after a while. That shit is intense. Oh, cool. You can still see this conversation if you come in later.
I moved the DARPA chief to the cell in the first floor basement.
What about the vent shaft cleaning?
Oh, they just opened the vent covers. They're about to start spraying for rats.
First floor basement ventilation shaft.
Shut those covers as soon as they're done spraying. Also, keep your eye on that woman in the cell. Don't get careless now.
Woman in the cell?
Did something happen?
There's an intruder.
Really?
He's already done 3 people.
He's killed 3 people?
Yeah, and they say he's using stealth, too.
Nice, they got...
Stealth? There's an intruder besides me?
Anyway, I want you to increase the security detail on the chief.
We got Spike from Cowboy Bebop over here. Is guard number 1 there. The one who aimed his gun. I totally recognize that fool's voice. I clocked him. I can't believe I keep forgetting the dude's name, though. The voice actor. Stealth Camo, I think we know who that is. It's the ninja. Mr. Grey Fox himself. Christ. That's like when you're fast asleep and someone comes into the room and turns on the light immediately. That's what that's like. And that's the outside. Yeah. Alright, back to where we came then. It's like somebody turns on the light and it's just like... You know, your eyes are fucked after that. No way you're already in range. Oh my god. Of course. How do you... There we go. Bastard. Oh. I don't think the elevator works on their alert status. That or it just takes forever. The hell, I didn't even know this was here. I got cocky around that goddamn camera. I walked right out into it. Oh yeah, so I forgot to mention when he said you never know about the cigarettes. Yeah, as a kid, when he was talking to Naomi about you never know when they may be useful, right? As a kid, I was kind of like with Naomi, like, what? How are they ever going to be useful? I mean, it literally says right here, highly addictive and hazardous to your health. Snake's favorite brand, right? And your health does decrease really fast when you start smoking. But that's because I didn't know that you could actually use them to see infrared lasers for tripwires that set off alarms or traps, right? I didn't know about that. I only knew about the thermal goggles letting you see those lasers. I didn't know that cigarettes would also... And that was the original way of finding out that there were trip sensors back in Metal Gear 2, right? We saw that. Shit. Fuck. God, they're everywhere. Wait. Perfect. Waited out right here and we got a straight shot to the elevator. Lost the ration because of my carelessness to that stupid security camera. Not a problem though, it's not like we won't run into like a million rations throughout the game. It's on very easy for crying out loud. It's not a problem. Blind as a bat. Well, I'm gonna end the stream soon, so instead of continuing the story in Basement 1, I'm gonna go do something in Basement 2 to show something else off. Yeah, because we're almost at 2.5 hours. The armory. See, now the screen actually fades out to black and comes back in. It's not a seamless transition anymore where you just stare at the elevator thing, the floor is changing or whatever. So the thing I wanted to show here, let me save again. I think it's like before, save points are basically, they'll take you to the last time you changed rooms, which would right now be right now when I came down the elevator.
What's up, Snake?
So you make backup. Well, actually, you can always make backup saves, even in the original. Yeah, but I don't need to, though. I'll just keep using the same one. Forgot how fast it is now.
Snake, listen to what Lao Tzu said. He who knows that enough is enough will always have enough. Just because you see an item doesn't mean that you always have to get it. If you really don't need it, think twice before you stick your neck out. It might not be worth it.
Sound advice, but another way you can also interpret that, because that's a way to interpret it in the context of this mission and what we're doing, right? Another way to interpret that in everyday life is also healthy minimalism. Don't live in excess, you know? There's no point to that. Just because you can, doesn't mean you should. You know, when it comes to, like, buying wants over needs. Things like that. Like, it's like, do I really need this? Or am I just, like, is this just a vanity purchase? You know, that kind of thing. So it also applies to everyday life. Of course, advertising is always trying to make sure we buy more than we need, but that's its purpose. It doesn't close back up anymore. Once the trapdoor is open, it stays open. So now that's a safety hazard. I can't walk over that anymore, I die instantly. But I guess they probably figured it's also... and you can kind of see it. Does this still work? Yes, it does. You can still see trapdoors that way. Not once it's open. Then you gotta use your naked eyes. Let's see. You can hear them thud. I never heard that before. You can actually hear them hit the bottom. Anyway, I don't think I can show what I was going to because there needs to be a guard here. Which I don't think there is any yet. Nope, there's no guards here until after the first boss fight then. Alright, never mind. I guess it'll have to be next stream then. Yeah, it'll have to be next stream. Streamer streaming. Yeah, I needed a guard here because I wanted to trigger an alert or something. Oh well. Well, that's it for me for now. Long-ass prologue as always, an intro or whatever, because, you know, talking about the differences between the original game and this game, introing it properly, talking about my experiences with this game compared to the original, yada yada yada. So the first episode always starts off slow. But next episode, you know, when I come back, we'll get some more done. We'll actually get going with the story a little bit more and I'll stop dicking around so much. But yeah, for now, that's pretty much it. So, set this down somewhere safe. Not a wireless controller anymore. Like the PS3 controller I was using that was wireless. So yeah, I'm gonna end the stream. I'll go look at it to see if the audio is good, see if my voice isn't too strong over the game audio or the game audio isn't too strong over my voice, yada yada. And then I'll make adjustments for next time. But until then, well, until then. So, as always, thank you all very much for watching, and appreciate all the support across Twitch and YouTube, wherever you choose to support. I appreciate it very much, and... screen moving? The hell? Like, the screen just started bopping up and down, like, with Snake's head. Like, it's doing this with him. Kinda weird. Anyway, as always, yeah, please take care of yourselves, look after each other, stay safe out there. And until next time, please have a good morning, afternoon, evening, and... oh, I didn't lock this. Well, there we go. And good night. Peace. Take it easy, ladies and gentlemen. Take it easy.
Snake, answer me! Snake! Snake!
Now that's the more iconic Snake that we've come to know and love, right?
Snake! Snake! Snake!